and the little aigrette in the moon pavilion. As soon as I opened my eyes, I found your own luxurious rune becomes useless in the mouth of the shit-shoveling officer who groomed himself. I learned that there will be a messenger from the Moon God Palace to pick me up later. What the hell does that mean? I was actually sold. The messenger of success at this time has arrived outside the museum. Is the little aigrette really going to be taken away? Said that the two teenagers just said something casually in broad daylight. The moon is about to set. The people saved lose their color. Just because he is the famous king of the moon. And opposite him is the messenger of the moon god palace. No one believes it's just a meaningless nonsense. Just now, the messenger of the moon god palace came to the moonlight jade beast. In front of the moon museum, the owner of the moon museum goes out to receive. The two messengers shouted out the Luna Palace number high above. The moon never sets because the night is eternal. This gesture made the owner a little uncomfortable. Now is no longer the era when Moon God Palace is the only one. And then the owner started boasting about the deer. The goal is simple. Sit on the ground. One of the messengers laughed sarcastically. It's just a mid-tier pet. But was stopped by another person and directly increased the price by 20 times. The pink-haired messenger looked at his sister in shock, and the curator has long been blinded by money. Just when the blue cat world thought it was done, a terrifying pressure came from behind. Looking back in horror, I saw the Moon King walking slowly from the crowd. Just looking makes Pink Hair lose his mind. Fortunately, under the reminder of the blue cat, don't make eye contact with him to recover. In the eyes of two weak and helpless lions, the person in front of him is the Demon King who exudes monstrous arrogance. Those indifferent eyes are like gods looking at ants. However, in the eyes of the male protagonist, what are these two guys from Luna Ben Gong doing? My identity as the king of the night. Shouldn't you talk to me? How should I react when they talk? Come and talk to someone to help me. At this time, a lord of vocal music came. I saw the curator running over excitedly. It's like a fanatic has met his idol. It turns out that the curator is also a member of bi-monthly education, male leader follower. Moon God Palace 2 want to buy a mid-tier Baihua deer. That is, the Supreme steps on the clouds and chases the moon. The male protagonist instantly understands. It turns out that no one knows his true identity except himself. How can the Supreme pet be sold? That's not something you can measure with money. Do you still want to fool yourself? I want to turn the male protagonist back on the two. Let the two go back and tell them this is not the place for them. The moon is about to set. Where did the moon come from in this broad day? Suddenly, everyone came to their senses. His expression changed in an instant. Ordinary people say that is a boring thing. But the Moon King, who is known as the strongest in the world, said so. This month probably represents the lunar magic. The two were shaking with fear. I can't care about that Sika deer now. We must return to Luna Palace immediately. Report catastrophe is approaching. The little white deer is so cute. What's wrong with reading Mr. Bay's literature? How can you look at him with colored eyes? Just now, the messenger of the Moon God Palace left male protagonist in despair. Enter the Moon Pavilion, with only one person left. Instantly restored to a funny look. Fortunately, I got through it. And the little aigrette room at this time. The little aigrette bit the staff's clothes, expressed that he refuses to move. The breeder thought it took so long. The little aigrette refuses to bear himself, hugging each other happily. He also expressed that he would definitely visit him often in the future. And I began to make the bed. As the bedding is lifted, a bunch of girls' favorite gadgets come into view. The breeder looked puzzled. Would pets still like this kind of thing? Keeper picks up his phone to check. Who left this here? The little white deer sweats coldly when he sees it. No, absolutely not. I'm not afraid of broken bones. To stay innocent in the world. To safeguard browser records. The little aigrette turned into a devil and hid it. With the breeder lying on the big bed, the phone was thrown flying. As a result, it was received by the male protagonist who just came in. The little aigrette wants to cry but has no tears. Why is it this guy? The male protagonist opens his mobile phone and takes a look. Instantly, he laughed out loud. Looking at Bazong literature on the phone, the male protagonist said that he didn't expect you to go this way. At this time, the little aigrette had already excitedly hid behind the bed. Seeing this, the male protagonist threw his phone on the ground and announced the cancellation of the deal with the Moon Shrine Palace. The Moon Pavilion was acquired by Moon Church. Then turn around and close the door and leave. Only the staff members are left looking at each other. And it belongs to more than the moon. Rising breeders are more curious about cell phone content. The little white deer in Wenyan raised its head with red eyes. A wind blows past the keepers. He threw his phone away and ran out the door. Make the breeder think the child is in rebellion. The little aigrette sprints all the way. Finally caught up with the male protagonist who slipped away in front. Pose to stop each other. Ask each other what they see. Listen to the girl's voice in my ears. The male protagonist understands each other. Why do you like reading this kind of novel? And there was a silence. The little white deer thought that success scared the other party. As a result, the male protagonist gradually smiled. Love sometimes. Is shooting to death also a confession of the past? The little white deer in classical Chinese directly spewed out a mouthful of old blood. It's over. I don't have the face to see anyone. No wonder there are so many orcs in another world. The other party's too beautiful. It makes you wonder. I can be discovered by the Moon King. The little aigrette is a threat to the male protagonist. Don't tell anyone about this. Otherwise, I'll be killed in front of your house. Let blood splatter you. The male protagonist took the opportunity to blackmail when he heard the words, as long as I call you nearby. Can you come to me right away? The little aigrette above answered casually, of course. Then react and wait. What did he say? But it's too late to regret it. Looking at the handsome male protagonist in front of him, I can't help but blush and accept my fate. The successful male protagonist turned around and wanted to leave, but was stopped by the little aigrette. The little aigrette reminds the male protagonist to be careful of the full moon, although the male protagonist does not understand, but still know. Looking at the back of the male protagonist, the little white deer automatically brought into his heart the plot of Mr. Bay's encounter. And the male protagonist who left the Moon Pavilion, immediately cover your pounding chest. Breathing heavily. I never thought of that. He successfully threatened a supreme machine pet. Just ask who else. but I just wanted to tease him. I didn't expect it to be like a confession. The little guy is unexpectedly cute. And the other side, the Luna Palace messenger returned to the headquarters as quickly as possible. Report the words of the Moon King to Xi Fei. Concubine Xi Shu was standing at the top of the Moon God Palace. The famous jade jewelry is all beautiful women. Hear the reports of two messengers. The fourth concubine immediately expressed, "The Moon King's words reminded me. Recently changed seasons. The full moon time is different. Don't forget to adjust the watch." Welcome to the eyes of a few other people looking at idiots, and various civilized greetings. Several people speculate. The king of the moon cannot appear on the moon for no reason. There must be something in there that attracts him. And the most likely one is the Emperor Wangji's pet beast. And if that's true, that means the god lodged in the Moon King's body is about to wake up. Legend awakening. Moon God Palace will no longer have the power to resist. After the meeting, the fourth concubine contacted He Yujiao separately. Deliver the emperor's message to them. As a result, when the opposite party heard the words, there was no sound immediately. Just when the fourth concubine thought they were afraid, Black Moon will change the personal reply, don't worry. The fourth concubine in this world, watched by the moonlight. But the King of Covenant is not alone. In order to activate the pet beast guide, the teenager, send your men to collect moonlight favorites. Who would have thought? The entire northern region was thrown into panic. Some people think that the King of the Moon eats raw beasts to replenish energy. Some people think this is a sign that the gods in the Moon King are about to wake up. All kinds of speculation make everyone in the northern region feel at risk, and the culprit, the King of the Moon, excitedly drawing cards at this moment. And it turns out, Zhuan Bufei, don't change your life. One operation. Only got one auxiliary high-level pet. Although the high-level support feels useless. But the name Wu Zhangyu has never been heard of. Open the mobile phone to inquire. As a result, no information was found. The male protagonist was instantly shocked. This year, there are actually pet beasts that cannot be found by the 10,000 Beast Encyclopedia. But wait, now that it's unlocked, it should be possible to view it directly in the Book of the Moon. It turned out that this is actually a bird that dated back more than 10,000 years. Extinct bug beast. This is not older than the magic of the moon. No wonder I can't find information online. Suddenly, the male protagonist came to his senses. Not a pet of this era. That means no one knows. Although there is no combat effectiveness, but it is very suitable for withstanding sudden crises. It's not just right for you. Current situation. Strongly and decisively sign the contract. With the contract completed, the male protagonist's consciousness space appears, a lake reflecting the crescent moon, shaking under the stack of unknown flashes. A mysterious texture of vicissitudes of life exudes. Looking at the lovely appearance of the moon in the lake, the night of this blood transmission to the moon is coming. Flash disk restlessness. Wu Zhangyu is sleeping. Nothing out of the ordinary. The male protagonist goes out to check. DJs in the dorm hallways. Moonlight pets are all anxious. And the same is from outside. Sound came. The male protagonist who realized that he was not coming for him was relieved. The man with glasses is a spy planted in the academy by the Black Moon Church. Destiny is the constellation of the King of the Moon on the night of the full moon. Afraid to be cautious. for fear of being found dead in place. But I haven't waited to meet anyone yet. Suddenly, I felt a trace of coolness behind me. With a bang, it was in ruins. The man with glasses narrowly escaped. But look at the huge shadow in the smoke. The man with glasses feels that God has played a joke on him. This guy obviously looks like a lowest level moonlight rabbit. But this size and that overwhelming presence? What the hell is this? Full moon night. A kawaii big-eared rabbit with only a little fighting power. Appear on the street. Then he swung his huge ears. I smoked at the poor man. With a bang, the school's low-level pets fled in fright. They came to the gate of the little aigrette, and as the little aigrette roared, they solidified on the spot. The disturbed little aigrette gave the order. All go back to sleep. The low-level pets were scared to the ground. Then lie down peacefully. And the little aigrette in the house, shyly thinking about the day, in non-stop self-defense. Is this love? At this time, Brother Rabbit outside showed a kind smile. The man in glasses sees the destroyed houses around him. Instead, feel at ease. This shows that Brother Rabbit does not belong to the Bi-Moon religion. Then he summoned his own pet, persuade his assistant from above, so as not to alarm the King of the Moon.